Good morning, Doug Jones here. You know, to be a great salesman, you got to always be thinking about selling, and I recommend that you be reading about selling tips and things that you can do. And to me, the best book I've ever read about sales is the Bible. A lot of people, you know, they're not Christian. A lot of people aren't going to read the Bible, and even if they do, they're not going to understand what they're reading sometimes. I'm going to write a book, though, called 100 Sales Tips from the Bible. So you can look for that in the future. But right now, the best sales book out there for people who maybe want to read a book other than the Bible is Green Eggs and Ham. Now, you've all heard the story. And the little guy says, "Would you eat them, Sam I am? Would you eat the green eggs and ham?" And he says, "No, I would not eat them. I wouldn't eat them on a boat. Wouldn't eat them with a goat. I just wouldn't eat them." And do you know, if you read that book, and it's like a 2-year-old, you know how a 2-year-old will ask you over and over and over, and finally you give in to the 2-year-old? Well, in this Green Eggs and Ham, the question's asked more than 50 times. Would you eat them? Would you eat them? Would you eat them? Would you? And finally the guy says, "I will eat them." And not only did he eat them, he liked the Green Eggs and Ham. So that's the number one sales book. Number one sales book. And read it and think about it, and you'll agree with me that Green Eggs and Ham is the best sales book. Another book I like is How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. This book is back from the 1930s. It's about a professional baseball player who became one of the best insurance salespeople of all time. By Frank Bettger. I recommend this book, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. The next book I recommend is called The 5 Great Rules of Selling. Now, this is probably out of print, but you can go online, you can go to Google, you can do a search, and this book is so simple. It gives you 5 techniques. They're human relation techniques and they're sales techniques, but they're timeless. One time I was teaching a class and I was using this book, and a person who was a sales instructor says, "But that's old." And I said, "Gail, the Bible's old, but people still read it. This is one of the best books you'll ever read." So if you want to improve your sales, read and think about Green Eggs and Ham. Look for this book and look for this book.